नमो ओं विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतश्री श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस एसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू श्रीला प्रभुपाद, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. I hope all you are doing well. Today we'll be reading from text 9 from Chaitanya Charitamrita. If you have not listened our previous classes, please check out from our playlist. So before we start, we will pray first. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Chakshura Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. नारायणं नमस्कृतं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद। नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So let's begin. Please listen very carefully. Text 9 from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Yesterday we have completed till text 8. Swayam Bhagavan Krishna Vishnu Paradatta Purna Gyan Purnananda Parama Mahatma. Text 9. নন্দসুত বলি যারে ভাগবতে গাই, সেই কৃষ্ণ অবতীর্ণ চৈতন্য গোসাই। নন্দসুত নন্দসুত বলি যারে ভাগবতে গাই, সেই কৃষ্ণ অবতীর্ণ চৈতন্য গোসাই। Nandasuta, the son of Nanda Maharaj, Bali as Yare, who Bhagavate in Srimad Bhagavatam Gai is sung, say that Krishna, Lord Krishna, Avatare, Avatirna means descended, Chaitanya Gosai, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He who Srimad Bhagavatam described as a son of Nanda Maharaj has descended to earth as a Lord Chaitanya. He whom Srimad Bhagavatam described as a son of Nanda Maharaj, he descended to earth as Lord Chaitanya. Purport. According to the rule of rhetorical arrangement for efficient composition in literature, a subject should be mentioned before its predicate. The Vedic literature frequently mentions Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan, and therefore these three terms are widely known as subject of transcendental understanding. But it is not widely known that what is approached as the impersonal Brahman is the effulgence of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's transcendental body, nor it is widely known as it nor is it widely known that the Supersoul or Paramatma is only the partial representation of Lord Chaitanya, who is identical with Bhagavan himself. Therefore, the description of Brahman as the effulgence of Chaitanya, Lord Chaitanya, the Paramatma as the partial representation, and the Supreme Personality Godhead Krishna as the identical with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu must be verified by evidence from authoritative Vedic literature. The author want to establish first that the evidence of the Veda is the Vishnu Tattva. The author wants to establish first that the essence of Veda is the Vishnu Tattva, the absolute truth Vishnu, the all-pervading Godhead. Vishnu Tattva has different category, of which the highest is Lord Krishna, ultimate Vishnu Tattva, as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita throughout the Vedic literature. In Srimad Bhagavatam, the same Supreme Personality Godhead Krishna is described as a Nanda Sutta, the son of King Nanda. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says that Nanda Sutta has again approached as a Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he based his statement on his understanding that the Vedic literature conclude there is no difference between the Krishna and the Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Thus the author will prove Thus the author will prove. If it is thus proved that Sri Krishna is the origin of all tattva, truth, namely Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan, and there is no difference between Sri Krishna and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it will not be difficult to understand that Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also the same origin of all tattva, the same absolute truth as he is revealed to student of different realization is called Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan. Text 10. प्रकाश विशेषे तेहो धरे तीन नाम ब्रह्म परमात्मा और स्वयं भगवान प्रकाश प्रकाश विशेषे तेहो धरे तीन नाम ब्रह्म परमात्मा और स्वयं भगवान प्रकाश of manifestation विशेषे in the variety तेह ही धरे hold तीन three Nama, name, Brahma, Brahman, Paramatma, Paramatma, Super Soul, or and Swayam himself, Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In terms of these various manifestations, he is known in three features. He is known in three features called impersonal Brahman, the localized Paramatma, and the original personality of Godhead. Srila Jiva Goswami has explained the word Bhagavan in the Bhagavad. Srila Jiva Goswami has explained the word Bhagavan in his Bhagavad Sandarbha. The personality of Godhead, being the full of all conceivable and inconceivable potency, is the absolute supreme whole. The impersonal Brahman is a partial manifestation of the absolute truth realized in the absence of such the complete potency. The first syllable of the word Bhagavan is Bha, which means sustainer and protector. The next letter Ga means the leader, pusher, and creator. Va means dwelling. All living beings dwell in the Supreme Lord, and the Supreme Lord dwell within the heart of every living being. Combining all these concepts, the word Bhagavan carry the import of inconceivable potency in knowledge, energy, strength, opulence, power, influence, devoid of all variety of inferiority. Without such inconceivable potency, one can fully sustain or protect. Our modern civilization is sustained by scientific arrangement devised by many great scientists, scientific brain. We can just imagine, therefore, the gigantic brain whose arrangement sustain the gravity of the ultimate of the unlimited number of planet and satellite, and who create the unlimited space in which they float. If one considered the intelligence needed to orbit man-made satellite, one cannot be fooled into thinking that there is not a gigantic intelligence responsible for arrangement of the various planetary system. There is no reason to believe that all the gigantic planet floated in the space without any superior arrangement or superior intelligence. This subject is clearly dealt with the Bhagavad Gita 15:13, where the personality Godhead says, I enter into the planet and by my energy there can stay in orbit where the planet not held in the grip of the person where the planet not held in the grip of personality Godhead, they would all scatter like a dust in the air. Modern scientists can only impractically explain the inconceivable strength of personality of Godhead. The potency of the syllable va, ga, va apply in term in many different meaning. Though this different potency and different potent agent, the Lord protect and sustain everything, but he himself personally protect and sustain only his devotee. Just as king personally sustain and protect his own children while entrusting the protection and sustenance of the state of various administrative agents. The Lord is the leader of the devotee, as we learn from the Bhagavad Gita, which mentions that the personality God had personally instruct his loving devotee how to make progress in the path of devotion and thus surely approach the kingdom of God. The Lord is also a recipient of all adoration offered by the devotee, for whom he is the object and the goal. For his devotee and Lord create the favorable condition for developing the senses and transcendental love of Godhead. Sometimes he does this by taking away the devotee material attachment by force and baffling all his material protective agent. For thus, the devotee must completely depend on the Lord's protection. In this way, the Lord proves himself the leader of his devotee. The Lord is not directly attached to the creation, maintenance, and destruction of the material world, for he is eternally busy in enjoyment of transcendental bliss with the paraphernalia composed by his internal potency. Yet, as the initiator of the material energy as well as the material potency, the living being, he expand himself as a Purusha Avatara who are invested with a potency similar to this. The Purusha Avatara are also the category of Bhagavad Tattva because each and every one of them is identical with the original form of personality Godhead. The living entity are is the infinitesimal particle and qualitatively one with him. They are sent they are sent into this material world for the material enjoyment to fulfill their desire to be independent individual, but still they are the subject to the supreme will of the Lord. The Lord deputes himself in the state of the super soul to supervise the arrangement for such the material enjoyment. The example of the temporary fair is quite appropriate in the connection. If the citizen of the state assemble in a fair to enjoy for a short period, the government deputies a special officer to supervise it. Such officer is invested with the governmental power and therefore he is identical with the government. When the fair is over, there is no need for such officer and he return home. Paramatma is compared with such an officer. The living being are not all in all. They are undoubtedly part of the Supreme Lord and are qualitatively one with him, yet they are subject to his control. Thus, they are never equal to the Lord and one with him. The Lord who associates with the living being is a Paramatma or the supreme living being. No one, therefore, should view the tiny living being and the supreme living being to be on an equal level. The all-pervading truth and exists eternally during the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of the material world, and in which the living being rests in trance is called impersonal Brahman. All the pervading truth that exists eternally during the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of the material world, and in which the living being rests in trance is called impersonal Brahman. Text 11. Badanti tattvattvabidasthattvang yajajnanamanadvayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti sabdate. Badanti tattvattvabidasthattvang यजज्ञानमनद्वयम् ब्रह्मेति परमात्मेति भगवानेति शब्दते वदन्ति. They say that tatvavida learned soul, tattvam the absolute truth, yat which jnanam knowledge, avayam non-dual, brahman iti thus, paramatma iti thus, bhagavan iti thus sabd a is known. Learned transcendentalist who know the absolute truth, says that it is a non-dual knowledge and is called impersonal Brahman, the localized Paramatma, and the personality of Godhead. Learned transcendentalists who know the absolute truth says that it is non-dual knowledge and it called impersonal Brahman, localized Paramatma, and the personality of Godhead. The Sanskrit verse appears as the 11th verse of the first canto, second chapter Srimad Bhagavatam, where the Sutta Goswami answered the question of sages headed by Saunaka Rishi concerning the essence of all spiritual instruction. Tattvavida refers to person who have knowledge of absolute truth. They can certainly understand knowledge without duality because they are on the spiritual platform. The absolute truth is known sometimes as a Brahman, sometimes as Paramatma, sometimes Bhagavan. The person who are in knowledge of truth known that one who tries to approach the absolute simply by mental speculation will ultimately realize the impersonal Brahman, and who is try to approach the absolute through yoga practice will be able to realize the Paramatma. But one who complete knowledge has a complete knowledge, spiritual understanding, realization, and the spiritual form of Bhagavan is personality of Godhead. Devotee of the personality Godhead known as devotee of personality Godhead known that Sri Krishna, the son of King Braja, is absolute truth. They do not discriminate between the Sri Krishna name, form, quality, and pastimes. One who want to separate the Lord absolute name from quality from the Lord himself must be understood to be lacking the absolute knowledge. A pure devotee knows that when he chant the transcendental name Krishna, Sri Krishna presents the transcendental sound. He therefore chant with a full respect and veneration. When he see the form of Sri Krishna, he does not see anything different from the Lord. If one see otherwise, he must consider untrained in absolute knowledge. This lack of absolute knowledge is called Maya. One who is not Krishna consciousness is ruled by the spell of Maya under the control of duality in knowledge. In the absolute truth, the all manifestation of the Supreme Lord are non-dual, just as the multifarious form of Vishnu, the controller of Maya, are non-dual. Empiric philosopher who pursue the impersonal Brahman accept only the knowledge that the personality of the living entity is not different from the personality of the Supreme Lord. The mystic yogi who try to locate the Paramatma accept only that knowledge that the superior soul is not different from the super soul. The absolute conception of pure devotee, however, include all others. The devotee does not see anything except in the relationship with Krishna, and therefore his realization is the most perfect of all. Text 12. তাহার অঙ্গের শুদ্ধ কিরণমণ্ডল উপনিষদ কহে তারে ব্রহ্ম সুনির্মল। তাহার অঙ্গের শুদ্ধ কিরণমণ্ডল উপনিষদ কহে তারে ব্রহ্ম সুনির্মল। Tahara, he is Angere of the body, Shuddha, pure, Kirana of ray, Mandala, realm. Upanishad, Kahe, says, Tahare, unto that, Brahma, Shu Nirmala, the transcendental. What the Upanishad call, what the Upanishad call the transcendental impersonal Brahman is the realm of the glowing effulgence of the same supreme person. What the Upanishad call the transcendental impersonal Brahman is the realm of the glowing effulgence of the same Supreme Person. Three mantra of the Mundaka Upanishad is given information regarding the bodily effulgence of the Supreme Personality of the Godhead. हिरण्मयो पराकोशे विराजं ब्रह्म निष्कलम् तच्चुभ्रं ज्योतिषं ज्योतिष तद् यद् आत्मा विदो विदु न तत्र सूर्यभाति न चन्द्रता तारकं नेमा विद्युति वन्ति कुतो ह्यम् अग्निः तम इव वन्तम् अनुभवि सर्वं तस्य भाषा सर्वम् इदं विभाति ब्रह्मवेदम् अमृतं पुरस्ताद् ब्रह्म पश्चात् ब्रह्म डाकशीनता डाकशीनता स कटरेण आधास कर्दभं च प्रस्तुतं ब्रह्मैवेदं विश्वम् इदं वैशथम्. In the spiritual realm, beyond the material covering is the ultimate beyond the material covering is the ultimate Brahman effulgence. Ultimate Brahma effulgence, which is the free from the material contamination. The effulgence with that effulgence with the effulgence with light is understood by transcendentalists to be the light of all light. The effulgence The effulgence white light is understood by transcendentalists to be the light of all light. In the realm, there is no need of sunshine, moonshine, fire, or electricity for illumination. Indeed, whatever illumination appeared in the material world is only the reflection of the supreme illumination. The Brahman is the Brahman is in front and in back, in the north, south, east, west, and also over it and below. In other words, the supreme Brahman effulgence spread throughout both the material and the spiritual skies. Text 13. চর্মচক্ষে দেখে জয়ছে সূর্য নির্বিশেষ জ্ঞান মার্গে লইতে নারে কৃষ্ণের বিশেষ চর্মচক্ষে দেখে জয়ছে সূর্য নির্বিশেষ জ্ঞান মার্গে লইতে নারে কৃষ্ণের বিশেষ চর্মচক্ষে by the naked eye দেখে one see জয়ছে just as surya the sun nirvisesa without variegatedness, jnana marga by the path of philosophical speculation, laite to accept nare not able, Krishna re of the Lord Krishna, Visesa the variety. As with the naked eye, one cannot know the sun except as a glowing substance. Merely by the philosophical speculation, one cannot understand Lord Krishna's transcendental variety. As with the naked eye, one cannot know the sun except as a glowing substance. Merely by the philosophical speculation, one cannot understand Lord Krishna's transcendental varieties. Text 14. Jasya prabha prabhavato jagat koti jagat danda koti kotimba sesa shudha divi bhutir vinnam tad brahma निष्कलमानन्तं शेषभूतं गोविन्दम् आदिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि. Yasha of whom Prabha the effulgence, Prabha one who excel the power, of one who excel in power, Jagat Ananda of the universe, Koti Shu in the million and millions, Aseshu unlimited, Vasudha Adi with planet, Vibhuti with opulence, Vinnam becoming variegated, Tat that Brahman, Niskalam without part, Atmanam unlimited, Asesa Bhutam being complete, Govindam Lord Govinda, Adi Purusham the original person, Tam him, Aham I, Bhajami worship. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is endowed with the great power. The glowing effulgence of his transcendental form is the impersonal Brahman, which is absolute, complete, and unlimited, and which display the variety of countless planets with the different opulence in the millions and millions of the universe. The words appear in the Brahma Samhita 5.40. Each and every one of the countless universe is a full of innumerable planet with a different constitution and and atmosphere. All these come from the unlimited non-dual Brahman and complete whole, which exists in absolute knowledge. The origin of that unlimited Brahman effulgence is the transcendental body of Govinda, which is sorry, who is offered respectful obeisances as the original and the supreme personality Godhead. Text 15. কোটি কোটি ব্রহ্মাণ্ডে যে ব্রহ্মের বিভূতি সেই ব্রহ্ম গোবিন্দের হয় অঙ্গকান্তি। কোটি কোটি ব্রহ্মাণ্ডে যে ব্রহ্মের বিভূতি সেই ব্রহ্ম গোবিন্দের হয় অঙ্গকান্তি। কোটি কোটি 10 of million, koti 10 of million brahmande in the universe, ye which brahmana brahmare of brahman vibhuti opulence say that brahma of brahman govinda of lord govinda hoya is angakanti bodily effulgence. Lord Brahma said, the opulence of the impersonal Brahman spread throughout the millions and millions of the universe. The opulence of impersonal Brahman spread throughout the millions and millions of universe. That Brahma is but the bodily effulgence of Govinda. The opulence of the impersonal Brahma spread throughout the millions and millions of universe. That Brahma is the Brahman is but the bodily effulgence of Govinda. সেই গোবিন্দ ভজি আমি তেহ মোর পতি তার প্রসাদে হয় মোর সৃষ্টি শক্তি। সেই গোবিন্দ ভজি আমি তেহ মোর পতি তার প্রসাদে মোর হয় সৃষ্টি শক্তি। সেই দ্যাট গোবিন্দা লর্ড গোবিন্দা ভজি worship আমি আই তের হি মোর মাই পতি লর্ড te hare his prasade by the mercy more my hoya becomes srishti of the creation sakti means power. I worship Govinda, he is my lord. Only by his grace am I empowered to create the universe. I worship Govinda, he is my lord. Only by his grace am I empowered to create the universe. Although the sun is situated far away from the other planet, his rays sustain and maintain them all. Indeed, the sun diffuses its heat and light all over the universe. Similarly, Supreme Sun Govinda diffuses its heat and sun everywhere in the different potency. The sun, heat, and light are non-different from the sun. In the same way, the unlimited potency of Govinda are non-different from Govinda himself. Therefore, all the pervasive Brahman is all pervasive Govinda. The Bhagavad Gita 14.27 clearly mentioned that the impersonal Brahman is the dependent upon Govinda. That is the real conception of absolute knowledge. मुनयो वातवसनाश्रमणा ऊर्ध्व मंथिन ब्रह्मख्यं धाम ते यन्ति शान्ता सन्न्यासिनोहमला. Manaya sent Vatavasana naked. Sramana who performed several physical penance. Rudhava raised up. Manthina with whose second is Simon. Brahmaksham knowledge of Brahma known as Brahma Loka. Dhama to the abode. They Yanti go. Shanta, equipoised in Brahman, Sannyasina, who are in the renounced order of life, Amala, pure. Naked saint and sannyasi who undergo several physical penance, who can raise the semen who can raise the semen to the kind of brain, who are completely equipoised in Brahman, can live in the realm known as the Brahmaloka. In the words of Srimad Bhagavatam, refers to meditate who do not care anything about material including clothing, but who depend wholly on nature. Such saga do not cover their body even in the Ganasa winter and the scorching sunshine. They take great they take great pain not to avoid all kind of bodily suffering, and they live by the begging from door to door. They never discharge their kind of semen, either knowingly or unknowingly. By such celibacy, they are able to raise the semen to brain. Thus, they become most intelligent and develop their sharp memory. Their mind are never disturbed or diverted from the contemplation of absolute truth, nor are they ever contaminated by desire of material enjoyment. By practicing austerity under strict discipline, such mendicant attain a neutral state of transcendental to the mode of nature and merge into the impersonal Brahman. আত্মান্তর্যামী আত্মান্তর আত্মান্তর্যামী যারে যোগশাস্ত্রে কয় সেই গোবিন্দের অংশ বিভূতি সে হয় সেই গোবিন্দের অংশ বিভূতি সে হয় আত্মা অন্তর্যামী in dwelling super soul yare who yoga shastre in the scripture of the yoga kaya is spoken say that govinda amsa plenary portion vibhuti expansion ye which higher is he who is described in Yoga Shastra as the indwelling supersoul is also as the plenary portion of Govinda's personal expansion. He who is described in the Yoga Shastra as the indwelling supersoul is also a plenary portion of Govinda's personal expansion. The Supreme Personality Godhead is by nature joyful. His enjoyment and pastime are completely transcendental. He is in the fourth dimension of existence. For although the material world is measured by the limitation of length, breadth, and height, the Supreme Lord is completely unlimited in his body, form, and existence. He is not personally attached to the affair with the material cosmos. The material world is created by the expansion of is the Purusha Avatara, who direct the aggregate material energy and all the conditioned soul by understanding three expansion of the Purusha. Living entity can transcend the position of knowing only the 24 element of the material world. One of the expansion Mahavishnu is Kyodashai Vishnu, the supersoul within every living entity, as the supersoul of the total aggregate of the living entity, or the second Purusha is known as Garbhodashaya Vishnu. As the creator or original cause of innumerable universe, or the first Purusha who is lying on the casual ocean, he is called Mahavishnu. The Purusha, the three Purusha direct the affair of the material world. The three Purusas direct the affair of material world. The authorized scripture direct the individual soul to receive their relationship with the super soul. The authoritative scripture direct the individual soul to receive to revive their relationship with the super soul. Indeed, the system of yoga is the process of transcending the influence of the material element by establishing a connection with the Purusa known as the Paramatma, one who has thoroughly study the intricacies of creation can know who easily that his Paramatma is the plenary portion of Supreme Being Sri Krishna. Indeed, the system of the yoga is the process of transcending the influence of the material element by establishing a connection with the Purusha known as the Paramatma, one who has thoroughly study the intricacy of creation can know very easily that this Paramatma is a plenary portion of Supreme Being Sri Krishna. So here I concluded the reading of Bhaktivedanta purport from Chaitanya Charitamrita for the day. I hope all you understood. So let's go into the insight. Please listen till the end. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. See you tomorrow.
What is the ultimate nature of reality? I mean, really, what is it? It's a question that has kept people up at night for thousands of years. Well, today, we're diving into a really fascinating answer from the ancient Vedic text, the Srimad Bhagavatam, which gives us this incredible, multi-layered view of what it calls the absolute truth. So let's just ask it straight up. What is the absolute truth? Is it some kind of cosmic energy? A state of mind you can achieve? Or maybe a supreme being? You know, pretty much every major philosophical tradition has taken a swing at answering this one. And here's where our source material gets really interesting. It suggests that, yeah, the absolute truth is one single thing, a non-dual reality. But, and this is a big but, it's not a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. How you perceive it, what you understand it to be, actually depends on you, on your own level of spiritual realization. So the text breaks this down into 3 different but totally connected levels of understanding. Now, it's super important to remember, these are not 3 different truths. Think of it more like seeing the same thing from 3 different perspectives, each one more complete than the last. This key verse from the Bhagavatam basically lays out the whole roadmap for us. It says this one absolute truth is known by 3 different names, Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. So the obvious question is, what on earth do those 3 things mean? Let's break them down. Okay, first up we've got Brahman. The text described this as this infinite, formless spiritual light, a kind of all-pervading glow. This is often the conclusion that people who study philosophy come to, this idea that the absolute is this huge, impersonal energy that's the foundation of, well, everything. Next, we move to Paramatma, or the supersoul. Now this is a much more localized, more intimate understanding. It's the realization, which people often get through things like yoga and meditation, that the divine isn't just out there somewhere, it's actually present right inside the heart of every single living being, acting as a guide and a witness. And finally, we get to Bhagavan. This is described as the highest, most complete realization. It's understanding the absolute truth as the supreme person, the original source of everything, including both that impersonal Brahman energy and the indwelling Paramatma. So, the crucial point here is that these aren't competing ideas. They are simply different features, the impersonal, the localized, and the personal, of that one absolute reality. The path you take, whether it's philosophical speculation, deep meditation, or spiritual devotion, determines which feature you perceive most clearly. So, how do these 3 aspects actually fit together? Well, the texts don't just present them as different options, they lay them out as a clear progression, a way of moving from a partial or incomplete understanding of the absolute to the whole picture. And to make this concept, which can be a little abstract, totally clear, the source material gives us this brilliant, simple analogy that anyone can get. It just says, think about the sun. I mean, think about it. From 93 million miles away, what do you actually see? You see sunlight, right? A formless, super bright, all over the place glow. You can't really make out a specific shape. But a scientist knows that glow isn't the whole story. There's a source, the sun planet itself, a very specific thing with its own form and its own features. And that right there perfectly illustrates the relationship. Realizing Brahman is like seeing the sunshine. It's real, it's powerful, but it's the impersonal glow. Realizing Bhagavan, on the other hand, is like understanding the sun itself, the actual person who is the source of all that light. Okay, so this is where it gets really specific. The Vedic texts don't just leave it at this cool analogy. No, they go on to actually identify by name this personal source of all light. This quote from the Brahma Samhita just lays it right out there. It says that the impersonal Brahman, that great spiritual light, is nothing other than the glowing effulgence from the body of the primeval Lord, Govinda, who is identified as the original supreme person. So, let's just put it all together. The source presents a really clear hierarchy. You have Bhagavan, the supreme person, identified as Govinda or Krishna. His bodily effulgence, that incredible glow, is the all-pervading Brahman. And his partial expansion, the part of him that enters into every heart, is the Paramatma. And now we get to the main event, the central point of the specific text we're exploring today. After building this entire framework for reality from the ground up, the author makes one final, absolutely critical connection for the reader.
The text makes this pretty remarkable claim. It says that this very same Krishna, the source of both Brahman and Paramatma, the Supreme Person, appeared again right here on Earth, but in a different time and for a different reason.
And here it is. This is the conclusion the entire explanation has been building towards. The whole reason for laying out this cosmic structure, from Brahman to Bhagavan, is to establish this one key identity: that a figure known as Lord Chaitanya is the exact same person as that original Supreme Person, Lord Krishna.
So this whole journey, from seeing the Absolute as an impersonal energy to understanding it as a person, it leaves us with a pretty profound question to chew on. How does our whole perspective on life, on our purpose, how does all of that change if the ultimate source of everything isn't just a formless energy, but a person? It's definitely something to think about.